All right, Adam, we're back and we're live with another Buffum updates right here on the digital airways, should I say, of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all social media. We're here, Buffum updates, episode number 6. How's it going, Adam? Uh-oh, can you hear me? Are we frozen? Did we get frozen as soon as we go live?
I got you, Chico. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. What's going on?
Oh man, we can't get past these technical issues, huh? Hopefully not again throughout the show. To let everybody behind the curtain, last week there was just a horrific reverb happening in my head for like the entire hour. I was joking with you. It took me like 2 hours to unscramble my brain after that. So it'd be nice to get through one of these smoothly, right?
Without any issues. Let's see if it can happen. Hey, in the hood, that's what they say. Hey, they don't want us to be great. The devil always come out from somewhere. You know what I mean? So, hey, we just got to keep on trucking, keep on moving.
Yeah. No, it was one of those things where I couldn't even listen back through certain parts of it because I'm like, I know yeah, it's kind of PTSD from a couple weeks ago, but we got through it, and hopefully some people still took something away from that episode.
Right. And this episode here, this is number 6, like I said before, and we have news that you might have seen already that just popped up, but we have a long time, Buff, that you can probably tell us a lot more about with the son of former Buffs head coach Carl Durrell, Chandler Derella, announced via Twitter and Instagram that he's moving on in a post today. Associate Director of Player Personnel, worked closely, of course, with Corey Phillips and staff. What can you tell us about uh, Chandler Derella and the impact of this move with him moving on?
Yeah, this could be pretty long-winded, Chico, because Chandler Jarrell did a lot of things for Colorado football behind the scenes, a lot of things that set up the arrival of Coach Prime. He was the director of player personnel under his father, Carl Derella, Colorado, gets hired in February of 2020. And we all know what happens in March of 2020. And so face that initial obstacle of COVID and dealing with all of that and recruiting over Zoom. And then, COVID passes and Colorado's trying to get transfers into the university because they're trying to upgrade the roster. But the feedback the coaching staff is getting is that the vast majority of the transfers they want to bring in don't have the transferable credits to get in to the University of Colorado. In a lot of cases, Chico, it was a situation where it was a small technicality within the curriculum, and it should have been a transferable credit. There should have been a bigger pool of transfers that they could have been able to pull from. But the simple fact is that the academic standards at Colorado were such that they were getting shut down for most of the transfers they wanted to bring in. And so Chandler Jarrell, from everything I kept hearing as I was covering that process of them trying to revamp the academic situation, and Phil DeStefano created a pilot program and announced that, I believe, right at Coach Prime's introductory press conference. And so Chandler Jarrell, from everything I heard, played a really big role in terms of educating Todd Solomon, the president at CU, and Phil DeStefano and Rick George about this is the challenge. And I remember when Carl Durrell was fired on October 2nd, 2022, Brian Howell and I did an analysis video. We hadn't slept. We had just gotten back off the road covering them playing at Arizona and covered the press conference that they held to announce that they were moving on from Carl Durrell. And Brian and Howell and I are looking at each other going, it doesn't matter at this point who Colorado hires as their next head coach, because of these transfer restrictions and given how big the transfer portal is now in college football. And it really, I mean, we've seen it now, the last year and a half with Coach Prime, that it really is the lifeblood of Colorado football now, is being able to bring in talented transfers. Unless they were going to, fix that issue, Coach Prime would not be in Boulder right now. There's no way he would have taken this job. And if he didn't take the job and they still had those restrictions, I don't really think a quality coach would have come in, given the parameters, again, of the landscape we're in with college football. And so for him to do that, especially after his father gets let go, and he had connections with Corey Phillips on the staff and did an amazing job here the last year and a half since Coach Prime took over. So you got to tip your cap to Chandler Derella. I think he's a rising star in the profession. And if Colorado is able to reach their goals this coming season, you should look back and again tip your cap to Chandler Derella and what he was able to do, because again, from everything I heard, just in terms of how that process went about them getting the transfer situation resolved, and it needed to happen, but it needed somebody strong to come in there and help educate the administration to get it done, and he was able to do that.
Yes, sir. There's that technical difference.
Oh no, are you getting the reverb, Chico?
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, since you got me, I don't have you, but you were talking about Chandler, of course. That's going to be a big loss, man, overall. But like you explained, like a longtime Buff who has brought a lot of value to the Buff recruiting, and Corey Phillips and them in the squad. I'm sure they have a plan to regroup and find a way to supplement that loss right there. I want to go into why hopefully we can get some of these problems worked out once again. But Adam explains spring recruiting calendar and visits. We have some big ones coming up for this spring game, of course. A lot of things people are excited about. You got some recruits that are coming in that are big time, and a lot of people have been really, really recruiting them hard. So let's talk about Walker and Lewis right quick.
Hey, do you have me, Chico? You got me okay on your end? I'm going into the chat to see if other folks can. I see myself on the screen, but I can't.
Okay, Adam, are you there?
Yeah. I got you. We good?
Shouts out to everybody in the chats, in the comments, wherever you're checking in from. Mama Tia in here, and we got everybody else, Grip in here, and Grizz and everybody. So Adam explains once again as we get through these technical difficulties. You hearing me good, Adam?
Yeah, no, I got you. You got me okay now?
All right, yes, sir. I'm good to go now. Let's
okay.
All right.
Yeah, so the recruiting calendar, beginning last week, recruits were allowed to start taking unofficial visits out to colleges. Official visits will be allowed soon with those 2025 prospects. And this is kind of the next phase. It used to be the spring was the time, as I mentioned on a previous show with you, Chico, that this is when you would offer guys. And then in the fall is when, in the summer and fall is when you get a lot of visits. Now it's become so accelerated that most of these top 2025 recruits have their top options, and a lot of the top guys have already started to kind of narrow down their list. And so this is, for a lot of guys, kind of the final part of the process. Julian Lewis, a quarterback that has been committed to USC but took a unofficial visit to Colorado earlier this winter, is coming back out to Boulder, and he's looking at Georgia as well, as kind of getting to that point of, okay, I want to figure out where I'm going. Mantrez Walker, a linebacker from Georgia that's been a top target for Colorado for a while now, is kind of narrowing things down. He named his top 5. He's going to go out to Ole Miss. And then he's going to be out in Boulder for the spring game. And it sounds like he's going to commit right after that visit. And so you're starting to see things come together for a lot of these recruits. And there is still an evaluation period that goes from April 15th through most of May. And there's 140 in-person recruiting days. And so what you'll see with most recruiting staffs is once they finish up spring ball, they have their spring game, they're going to send their coaches out on the road. So every day that one of their 10 assistant coaches is out on the road, that counts as an evaluation day. And so you might not even use all 140 of those. Just kind of like official visits, the limit's at 56 typically. If you don't use that, you can bank 6 to the next year. It's kind of this fluid number. But you don't always use up every single official visit. There are resources at play. You're not going to just fly somewhere to fly somewhere. So you want to make it count. So we'll see if Colorado, how many of those evaluation days Colorado uses. But then there's a dead period at the end of May through June 23rd. Or I'm sorry. Dead period at the end of May. And then a quiet period through most of the month of June. And that's when you're going to have a lot of your camp visits. I know, Chico, you've reported a lot on the camp schedule that CU has. And you're also in that time period going to have a lot of official visitors that are coming out at that point. Now, there was some talk that there would be an early signing period, possibly in late June. They kind of kicked the can down the road a little bit. They haven't. They're not going to do that. It sounds like this recruiting cycle. That might be something they do in the future, but there will be an early signing period that's moved a little bit, and it's going to go from late December that we've been used to the last few years to right before the conference championship game. So there's a change there. But in terms of this spring window, again, I've reported on a lot of the visitors that are coming in. It's very much a quality over quantity type situation. They're going to probably end up taking, I should say, they should definitely take more than the 7 high school players they took in the 2024 class, but it's still going to be smaller than the typical. You're used to a college football program signing 25 out of high school. It's not going to be anywhere near that number. So again, still quality over quantity. But yeah, they just had Alex Graham from IMG Academy, a top-ranked safety, on campus this past weekend. It looked like he was almost a lock for Michigan, but now Colorado's heavily in the mix there, and they're really high on his teammate, some of his teammates there at IMG as well. Obviously, they got Jordan Seaton out of there last year, and they really like Major Preston. He's a versatile defensive back in that IMG secondary that played a big role as a junior. I mean, pretty much anybody that starts at IMG is going to go on to an FBS program, and he made a pretty big impact in their secondary as well. I know that's another guy from IMG that they're looking at. So definitely stay tuned to buffstampede.com as we continue to cover all things recruiting. But this is a big time for recruiting, especially as the weather starts to turn in Colorado. And that's been kind of part of the strategy. They had that elite underclassmen weekend in late January when Coach Prime took over his first time at the helm. And this year, they held off a little bit and said, let's bring these guys out in the spring. And the weather could still be a crapshoot in Boulder in March and April, but your chances of having, 60-degree day and really selling the recruits on how gorgeous Boulder is are a little bit higher as you get a little bit closer to summer.
Yeah. And you made you spoke of a term there, official visit. And I had Coach Riz on. Of course, we had our interview Friday, and we'll be continuing this on Wednesday. And he spoke and said that he had just had a big time recruit in on an unofficial visit. Can you maybe explain for the listeners out there the difference in an unofficial visit and an official visit?
Yeah, an unofficial visit has to be paid for by the recruit. So they've got to pay for not only their plane ticket or the gas if they're driving out. And for Colorado, the vast majority of folks are flying out. So they got to pay for that plane ticket. They got to pay for the hotel. They got to pay for the food. They got to pay for everything. But what they can do, if it's not a dead period, is they can come on campus. They can meet with the coaches. They can really do most of what you would do on an official visit. You just have to pay for it all yourself. Whereas an official visit, it's limited to 48 hours, but they can fly you out. They put you in a hotel. They can pay you meals. You get a player host. And so basically what you do is you hang out with guys on the team. You get a better feel on an official visit for what it's like to be a student athlete in a college program as opposed to an unofficial visit. Now you want to be strategic because a prospect can only take one official visit out to you unless there's a coaching change. So you want to put it at a point where maybe you're going to kind of close the deal, right? And get them to commit, or if they've already committed, a time when it's going to be most beneficial. Like let's say you had a quarterback that committed to you and he's still got his official visit to take. you're going to bring him out on that official when you've got a big group of highly regarded prospects coming out with him to have that guy kind of try to sell your program along with the coaches and the staff and the current players. And so it is when you have those official visits, it's a little bit more of, we can roll out the red carpet and give you that treatment. Whereas an unofficial visit, it's, if you can get here, we're going to sell you as best we can, but you got to pay for all that yourself.
You're gonna roll out that black and gold carpet on that official visit. That's when you
can good correction there, Chico. I was going to get in trouble for that.
I almost said red carpet, but you can roll out that carpet and kind of wine and dine them. And like you said, they can have a official host, like a player from the team, take them around, get them a feel for what it would be like to be a student athlete, actually a part of the team, when you come out during that official visit. Then you also said that you could bring them out when other recruits are there too, so they can have time to do some recruiting themselves and kind of bring in those guys who might be on the fence and such. So it's all strategic in how you use those official visits as opposed to those unofficial visits, because at the same time, each recruit has a set number of official visits they can take. They can take all the unofficial visits they want to, but for the official visits, it can take away from that set number that you have. So like you said, yes, got to be strategic on that. So that leads into the guys who are taking these visits. Of course, I seen even Dylan Edwards said on the Reach the People Media podcast, the reasons for a lot of these kids to come to Colorado and play for Coach Prime, they want to go to the next level, whether it's NFL, NFL Network, commentating, analyst, professional in some other spaces. They want to do that. So that's why they come there. And you have the pro day coming up for the guys who are aspiring to be in the NFL and to play pro football. That's going to go down March the 14th at the facilities there on campus. We've already seen D-Mac in a video that just dropped before we got on, Derek McClendon talking to Coach Prime, and Coach Prime backing him and saying, hey, this is a guy that should be in the NFL. You guys should want to draft him. He's backing him up 100%. We have a roster that's going to be performing on Pro Day. Let's talk about some of these guys who are going to be there and maybe the type of performance we're expecting to see from them. So I have a list in front of me, thanks to you, of course. So I could reel off some of these names right here. We got, of course, Xavier Weaver, Taj Austin, Javon Antonio, Jordan Dominic, Derek McClendon, Juju Mitchell, Leonard Payne Jr., Cavassier Smoke, Rod Ward, Noah Young, and Blake Stenstrom. Any of these names might stand out to you or whatever. Like, what are you thinking? What are you expecting from this pro day that's going down on the 14th?
Yeah, Jordan Dominic is the name that really jumps off that list, right? Just because of what he accomplished in terms of his production last season. I thought he had kind of taken his game from being a really good pass rush specialist, and his game is still improving, still evolving, and that's the reason he's not a guaranteed draft pick at this point of the process. But I thought he started to get better in run support as last season went along, and is somebody that I'm anxious to see just kind of how he tests out and to see what some of the scouts think about what he does on Thursday. Brad Jones is a different type of outside linebacker, but I remember him at Colorado. He was kind of in the same spot that Jordan Dominic was, and he had a strong showing at Pro Timing Day. And as Brad Jones was leaving the indoor practice facility, the scouts were following him, and they wanted to give him a quick Wonderlic test. And he ended up spending some quality time with the Green Bay Packers. So it's not often that you see somebody emerge at Pro Timing Day and go from, they're not going to be drafted all of a sudden. They're going to be a guaranteed draft pick. But every once in a while, there's somebody. Philip Lindsay had an amazing Pro Timing Day at Colorado and ran a sub 4.40 that folks weren't expecting. And he still didn't get drafted, but he was a priority free agent signing by the Denver Broncos and ended up going to the Pro Bowl, with the Broncos. And so you can stand out. It's crazy, Chico. Another name that stands out on that list is Juju Mitchell. just from a football standpoint. And we all saw in the Coach Prime documentary what happened there. And he was not on the field late last season. He got dismissed from Arizona State's program. Early on during preseason camp, but the fact he came in and learned the defense as quickly as he did, and then made quite an impact for Colorado, makes you think that he just has pretty incredible football instincts. And it wouldn't shock me if he's a guy that gets picked up as an undrafted free agent, and then folks are kind of impressed with what he can do between the lines.
Oh yeah, for sure. Another guy on this list, Xavier Weaver. He was out. He got invited to Indianapolis for the NFL Combine, but didn't participate from, if I'm not mistaken, was it a torn labrum? I think he had. I could be wrong on that, but I know he said he played the whole season with it. Starting from that second game of the season, he battled through it, was productive, and now he looks like he's going to be missing the pro day also. What are the drawbacks from missing the pro day and the NFL Combine in Indianapolis?
Yeah, it's brutal when you're kind of that fringe guy, right? Especially at a position like receiver where there are so many talented guys that come out every year. And so that's tough. Yeah, I think you needed, if you're Zay Weaver, to come out and have a pro timing day performance that would open eyes. But yeah, I mean, the shoulder injury is what it is. And so he's still going to get an opportunity. And that's the key, right? Is getting that chance to get into an NFL camp and show what you can do. And you can't do that if you don't take care of that injury first. So it's unfortunate. And I think everybody would have enjoyed seeing what he could have done testing wise and on the field doing those drills at the NFL Combine. But it's going to keep him out this Thursday as well. It doesn't sound like he's going to be able to participate. So we'll see what the future holds for Zay Weaver. But he's going to get that opportunity somewhere.
He'll get opportunity, and I think he'll make the best of it. Once he gets 100% healthy, he's a baller. He can play. He's been productive at every level. Even before he came to CU, he was the leading receiver down in South Florida. So I think he'll get a chance somewhere, and he'll be able to make the best of that. A couple other guys on this list, Javon Antonio, Derek McClendon, who looked really stacked on this new video that's Well Off Media just put out, and Coach Prime was endorsing him. Leonard Payne came over from Fresno State, had some production last year. A lot of these guys, they get in the offseason program after the season to prepare for the draft, and this is when they really get in that weight room. They get stronger, they get faster, they start looking better. Like McClendon say, he only had 9% body fat. So this is the best shape you should be in right now, probably in your football career, leading up to this NFL Combine, to try to run as fast as time you can and do as much as you can on that bench press. An interesting guy on this list would be Kavosier Smoke, who was productive in the SEC at Kentucky, but didn't get an opportunity, I would say, in the game, on the field, to do what he wanted to do in this final season. Do you think if he comes out, and I don't think, like you said, you're not going to go from being undrafted, projected, to being all of a sudden drafted by a pro day, but you can make your case to be a preferred free agent, UFL, Canadian League, overseas. You can make your case right here in the pro day on campus by running a good time and doing and testing out in those drills. What do you think about a guy like Kavosier Smoke in his performance, what it could do for him?
Yeah, I mean, again, to your point, it's tough to say from a running back standpoint just because we didn't see a whole lot of him. We saw him on special teams, and I think even rookie mini camps, you don't even have to get signed as necessarily an undrafted free agent, but there are other opportunities for these guys, and so show up in great shape, do a little bit better than they expect in the testing. All you need to do, Chico, is really impress one franchise, right? And then they bring you out and you get that opportunity, and who knows? And so it's hard to say beyond that with Kavosier, just because we didn't see a whole lot of him run the football last year.
Yeah, unfortunately, but like I said, he was productive in the SEC, and I think if he comes out there, run the time that's sub what they are expecting, he could possibly get a chance in one of these leagues that pay you to play football. I don't think a lot of people understand. They want to have that shot, that dream to go straight to the NFL. But at the end of the day, it is because you want to get paid to play football. You want to, afford yourself a living for playing football. And it's not just the NFL that can do that. So good luck to all of these guys on the list, from Blake to Noah Young to Rod Ward. I really like Rod Ward a lot. I think he'll get a
Yeah.
chance in the league somehow, some way, just from his ability on the football field. I hope he tests well also coming this Thursday. So that's something to look out. Anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, no, Rod Ward, he was one of those good stories, and he really got better last year. I think late in the season, when the defense was playing a better brand of football quietly, because I say quietly because the O-line issues had kind of overshadowed everything, right? And the losing streak as it mounted. But the defense was showing signs of improvement. And I thought Rod Ward was a big part of that. A guy that came in from the FCS ranks and took advantage of his opportunity. I don't know what his opportunity is going to be like in terms of professional football. But I mentioned, after this coming season, if Colorado achieves its goal, a big hat tip needs to go to Chandler Derella for what he did in changing the transfer stuff. There's guys on that 2023 team that they didn't get to go to a bowl game, but they were part of kind of the ground foundation of Colorado football under Coach Prime. And Rod Ward's one of those guys that hopefully, in 6, 7, 8 months, we kind of look back and can reflect on some of those guys, a Jordan Dominic, a Zay Weaver, a Rod Ward, guys that had such a big role in that 2023 season, even though, they didn't quite get the team results they wanted at the end of the season.
Yeah. And shouts out to my guy Moneybag Taj Austin, who did a really good job down in the Senior Bowl. He was able to participate in along with Jordan Dominic. Shouts out to him. I think he'll get an opportunity also coming over from West Virginia. So those are our guys who will be participating in the Pro Day March 14th. That is Thursday, right? Already up this Thursday. And I can't wait to see it. The other rest of the guys on the team should be there cheering these guys on and just trying to encourage them and seeing what is to expect for the years to come when they are there to participate. Shiloh Sanders, Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders, and so on. So looking forward to them. Speaking of my guy, Big Trav, though, he just won the nation's most versatile player award in the Paul Hornung Award. And this year, probably if he would have been in the FBS school his first 2 year or his first year instead of at Jackson State, I think he would have had a chance to win it then. Probably the first guy ever to win it 3 times, but he still has an opportunity to win it back to back, which would be the first time also. So Travis Hunter looking to do that. I think he will be a shoe-in to win this award. First one who would be having this type of offensive productivity on that side of the ball, along with defensive side of the ball, since like Champ Bailey back in the day. That was when I was getting recruited at Georgia, when they used to brag on what Champ Bailey did, all those things of that nature. So he just won the award. What's his odds of winning it again? And how did you feel about him winning this award this year?
Well, to put odds on it, you got to factor in injury, the potential of injury, which nobody, of course, wants to talk about on this podcast.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
But let me say this: as long as Travis Hunter stays healthy, you use the word shoe-in. Yes, 100%. Travis Hunter is the most versatile player in the country. He was in 2023 and will be in 2024. Just an incredible season. There was a note by CU that Hunter was the first player in at least the last 25 college football seasons with 50-plus receptions and 3 or more interceptions. So you mentioned Champ Bailey. Like what he's doing right now is borderline unprecedented. There have been pretty talented two-way guys, but yeah,
700 plus yards also in 3 picks that year. But I think Travis can probably surpass that this year.
Yeah. The funny thing is, one of the most challenging parts of this job right now is thinking of new ways to describe Travis Hunter, right? Because he is just an unbelievable player, and he did great things this past year, deserved the Hornig Award, but the best for Travis Hunter's yet to come. You
Yeah.
know, when you see some of the stuff that he does on a regular basis in practice, and what happened in the CSU game and what he had to battle back from, and yeah, I think that the final chapter of Travis Hunter at CU is going to be something that you can tell your grandkids about. I really do think and the only thing is, and again, he's going to stay healthy because he's a durable guy. I mean, it took a freak, cheap shot that knocked him out. But I would imagine if we can get 12, 13, 14 games out of Travis Hunter this coming season, that he'll be receiving his second Hornig Award.
I'm telling you, a lot of people love him at the wide receiver position. They think he's better at the wide receiver position. He gets all these celebrities commenting on his page. Shouts out to Zay Weaver also. Everybody's saying he's him. He's that guy. And yes, I agree too. From when I saw him out here in the Polynesian Bowl, I always say that. I saw probably the best player on the field that I had seen with my own eyes in person when I saw this guy play out here. So, I think he's a shoe-in. Like I said, he's set to do nothing but win that award again next year, barring any type of setbacks and things of that nature. But I think he's like the bionic man to be out there playing that many plays, that much time on the field, and be that durable. And still, we could call him durable, but we still haven't seen him play a full season, although he's played more snaps than anybody else.
No.
That's crazy thinking about that. That's off the charts, man. So Travis Hunter, shouts out to his whole family that was there to receive the award. Louisville, Kentucky. Shouts out to Big Trav. I did an interview with his dad. Back my first Prime Parents interview was with his dad, and he talked about how fast he was, and Travis got some of that speed, but he still feel like he's the fastest one out of the family. So shouts out to him. Much love, Travis Hunter, man. Keep doing your thing. I think we had one.
But Chico, I think that we need to take moments this coming season to just appreciate it, right? Because he's going pro after next year. I don't think that's any type of secret at this point. And so much of the time we're spent looking ahead. Who are they recruiting next? What are they going to do next year? Like, this is the here and now. Travis Hunter is going to run through 15 spring practices with the Buffs, and he's going to be an ambassador for the University of Colorado he'll continue to do that after he goes pro, but doing that in Boulder is going to be a special thing. And there's been some special players that came through Colorado, even in some of their tough years. Laviska Shenault was an incredible athlete. I mentioned Philip Lindsay, and the list goes on, but I don't know if I'll ever cover somebody quite as versatile as Travis Hunter. So I plan to take those moments and just really appreciate what he can do, because he's the only person on the planet that can play that number of snaps, right? I mean, I think it's pretty much proven when you look at the history of college football. And so he's in a Colorado uniform right now. So that's pretty special.
And he's being coached by Deion Sanders, a guy who has been embracing openly, saying that, hey, if you're a two-way player and you want to play two ways and you're able to play two ways, where else you going to go, dog? Who else going to give you the opportunity and understand what you're going through? So I think it's very possible we could see another Paul Hornig Award coming from Coach Prime, coach player at Colorado in the near future after Travis Hunter is gone. You got two-way players, Draylon Miller coming in, Cam Michael coming in, and some that we don't even know about that Coach Prime is saying, hey, I'm not hard to find. If you want to play both ways and you can do it, come to Colorado. I love it.
I want to see Brandon Davis swing on offense a little bit. I don't know if you saw any of what he did for his Michigan high school, but he was playing tight end, catching passes downfield as a 265-pounder. Now, he's not going to get, obviously, the type of snaps offensively that will put him in the discussion for the Hornig Award, but that's one of those guys, because – again, Coach Prime, he put Bishop Thomas there, he put Shane Cokes there. They're going to put the best personnel that they got for certain roles. And so it wouldn't shock me if Brandon Davis-Swain is one of those guys once he gets his feet wet at this level and could be, a bigger body two-way guy for the Buffs.
Hey, that'll be something to see right there, too. We saw a couple snaps from Bishop Thomas last year on the offensive side of the ball, but a more consistent type player on that side of the ball, both sides of the ball, and a guy from the trenches, so to speak, that would be something to really see right there. And I think it can happen at Colorado with Coach Prime. But you said personnel. It's all about personnel. That's our little segue transition into talking about our takes from Coach Robert Livingston's one-on-one interview with the pregame show's Uncle Neely. They sat down, of course, at the facility and had a discussion. And Coach Livingston said some things that kind of stood out to me, which was talking about when Neely asked about what is your identity on defense? What is going to be your calling card? And Coach Livingston said, hey, we're not going to take – basically, I'm not going to take a circle and try to fit it into a square. I'm going to use my personnel the best way I can. I'm going to use the guys who are playmakers. I'm going to put them in position to make plays. I'm not going to try to run an 85 Bears defense if I don't have the 85 Bears personnel. So I like that. He's not trying to come in and say, you're just going to run my system. I'm going to look at what I have and see where we can put these guys to be most successful. What are some of the takes that you got from listening to Coach Robert Livingston with Uncle Neely on that exclusive interview?
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is just what you said there in terms of we're going to fit our scheme around what we do best. And he mentioned that, defense has 5 or 6 guys that you want to get. He said they're kind of your shooters. They're your Steph Currys. You want to get them shots. You want to get them shots early in the game. And so letting those top players feel like they're making a big impact, and then you kind of work in the other pieces from there. I liked hearing that. He said it went back to his scouting background with the Bengals and in just terms of seeing it from a different view as opposed to just straight up scheme. It's okay. Well, he mentioned that, last year's Bengals team couldn't do the same thing they could the year before, but it lined up with some other previous Bengals teams. So go back to what worked with those groups. And so that's good. The other thing that stood out was the collaborative attitude that he seems to have. He said that, at the end of the day, I'm the one they're going to blame if things don't go great. He's got the final say, but that he's got 7 or 8 different defensive coordinators in that room with him, and that he's going to listen to them, which is important. Collaborating just like us, Chico. I think it's important to not always think as a coach that you're the smartest guy in the room, and you might be, but that doesn't mean you can't get great advice from different people in the room. And he talked about Coach Prime's the fact that he'll be in a room talking about defensive back play, and he leaves the room and says, golly, why didn't I think of that? And so he's willing to check his ego at the door when he goes into the meeting room. And I think that's the key for a really good coordinator. And it breeds good chemistry within your coaching staff, right? When you have, as he said it, like he's worked for people before that are all about themselves, and it really deflates your feeling going into the office every day, because you're not going to work your best. You're not going to be the best version of yourself if you don't think your input's being valued. And so that was the other big takeaway. And it sounds like Neely's got part 2 coming up later this week, so I'm anxious to see that.
Yeah, he left us on a little cliffhanger, which was pretty smart to do right there. So, I'm excited about what Coach Livingston can bring to this defensive squad, to this whole team from an attitude perspective also. So, like you said, he mentioned in the interview that, hey, if I have Coach Prime here with me, the greatest to ever do it at this position that I'm coaching, I'll be crazy not to pull from him or to listen to him or to take whatever he's trying to bring. And I would be crazy not to invite that in. So I think he has the right mindset. A young guy who's been very experienced in the NFL, on the NFL level, and is going to bring that to the Buffalo's football squad, I think, moving forward. So that was our last scheduled topic, but we do have some fan questions coming in, or some chat questions, like I like to say. So shouts out to 9-4's finest for the 9.99 super chat, who said, how do you guys feel about the potential of the run game in 2024, knowing that Coach Loadholt blocked for Adrian Peterson in the NFL and seeing that Alto gets AP comparisons? Good question. I like that. I guess I can answer this question real quick and say that I feel great about the run game in 2024. We have some depth in the backfield. Dylan to Savion, to Michael Welch, to shout out to Charlie, and to Alto, who's projected to be the starter. We'll see how that plays out once these pads come on, though. But I'm excited about that. Yes, he has comparisons to Adrian Peterson, who's about his height and size. If Coach Loadholt can kind of look at some of the things that they were successful with the Vikings, with Adrian Peterson, whether that's zone blocking, whether that's reaching, whether that's a lot of pulling, whatever it is, and kind of relay that to the offensive coordinator and say, hey, this might work well for this guy because he's in that same mode. Then yeah, I like that. Load Hope was a part of some great offensive teams up there in Minnesota, so I think his blocking schemes and his attitude will bring something to this offensive line that probably we haven't seen in a long while, as far as being Colorado Buffaloes. What do you feel about the run game moving forward, Adam?
Yeah, I mean the offense was so one dimensional last year that the bars kind of set low there in terms of the production, and so Phil Loadholt and Pat Shermer are going to make that a priority, because Coach Prime has clearly stated, yeah, we got to be more balanced this upcoming season. And yeah, you get Dylan Edwards, who's a little bit heavier. He's running with the track team this spring. Alden McCaskill has been over social media, and it's great to see just the confidence that he's exuding right now. I know that last fall was tough for him. I saw him coming off the field late in games a couple times, and you could just see the frustration on his face, because he came in and scored 18 touchdowns as a true freshman in college football. That's pretty rare. And so to have that success and then you tear your ACL, it's had to have been a really tough process for him coming back from them. So to see him to get to this point, and Colorado have so much faith in him that they don't make running back a top priority in the transfer portal again, because they think Alden McCaskill can be that guy. So this is going to be a big spring for him, just in terms of he's got the confidence now, and now get that burst back that we saw in the film from Houston, because the Adrian Peterson comparisons, yeah, that seems like a lofty comparison, but that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that film from Houston, was that's Adrian Peterson right there, the way he was running the football. And so if you can get back to that, then yeah, this is a ground game that's definitely going to get off the ground in 2024.
I can't wait, because if we can have a balanced attack, I think that's only going to open up things a lot more for Shedeur Sanders and the passing game, which a lot of people are very excited about, rightfully so, with some of the weapons that's been added to the outside with Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Jimmy Horn Jr., the weapons that we had last year, Marion Miller, and a bunch of young guys. I'm excited to see these guys come about and see what they can do on the offense side of the ball, with the whole year preparing under Coach Pat Shermer. So that's what it is, man. That's our Buff 'em updates for the day. I guess it's a shorter show than what we normally have, but we did a nice little rundown on this show. So y'all check out Chandler Derella, who's announced he's moving on. We have our Adam Explains segment. Y'all check that out, along with Travis Hunter winning the Paul Horning Award, and Coach Robert Livingston on the pregame show, in addition to the March 14th Pro Day that's going down. So, Adam, last words. Leave us with something.
Well, I know that spring ball starting, we're not going to have another 44-minute episode anytime soon, because it's about to ramp up in Boulder, and the storylines are there at every position. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm heading out to Vegas this week for the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament, but anxious to get back for the start of spring ball, because it should be a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed. Let them know where they can find you.
at AdamCM777 or at BuffStampede.com. We're part of the 24/7 Sports Network. Like I said, we got you covered with recruiting coverage that's going to be ramping up here with those spring visits pretty soon.
Shouts out to BuffStampede.com. Get over there and get you some. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all social media. BiggDogg Chico, BIWGDOWG _Chico. And make sure you follow us each and every week for more Buffum updates, news, and insights on Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes by myself, BiggDogg Chico, and Adam, the CheeseCat Munsterteiger. All right. We're going to be up and about this thing. Thank y'all for joining us. God bless you and good night.